All right, guys, welcome back. This is part two of our Japan series. We are still here in Kanazawa, and
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the first half of our trip up to this point. And we're going to talk about our first stop, which, of course, was Tokyo, the
Yeah.
city we flew into. We flew in to Haneda Airport, and then we actually stayed at the airport. We stayed at a hotel in the airport.
The Villa Fontaine was
Yeah.
what it was called. I give it a 5 out of 5. It was super modern. It was really clean. Convenient location. The location you can't beat. It's in Terminal 3, which is where you come out of customs. So it's right there. And it has an onsen on the rooftop. It's free if you're staying at the hotel. Oh my God. I thought it was just going to be like a couple of like baths. It had a variety of baths to choose from, like onsen, hot water, cold plunge, soda baths. It had steam room, sauna. It was beautiful. I spent about an hour there the next morning. I highly recommend this hotel if you want to stay at the airport. We only stayed one night because I knew jet lag wasn't really going to be a problem for us. But hey, if you're worried about jet lag, stay 2 nights. The airport had tons of stuff to do, and there's the monorail that will take you into Tokyo if you want to go bounce into Tokyo and then go back to the hotel. But highly recommend this hotel.
I have to add, it's the only time I've ever seen this in my entire life. They had a fridge that was stocked. They had
Oh, that's right.
they had soda, they had Coke, they had beer, they had sake, all free.
Yep, complimentary.
No bar. You don't no mini bar, no fees, nothing.
Yep.
It was all free. And somehow I walked out of there and left most of it sitting in the fridge. I thought it was probably bad taste to just load my backpack up
crazy.
with it, but I did have a soda and a beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mind-boggling to my American mind that there was
Yeah.
free alcohol in the mini fridge.
And free water.
Yeah.
So not just, yeah. So after that, we woke up the next morning. We went to the Tokyo Dome Hotel. So most hotels here are like America. Check-ins around 3, check-outs like 10 or 11. So we checked out of our hotel and we started making our way to the Tokyo Dome. Now, because we checked out at the time we did, we couldn't check into our other hotel for a few hours. But all hotels here in Japan are happy to hold onto your luggage for you. And in fact, they'll even deliver it to your room for you after you've checked in. So we get to the Tokyo Dome Hotel. We braved the train for the first time. We took the monorail, we took the train. We did great. I'm so proud of us. We did a really good job. We got to the Tokyo Dome. I chose Tokyo Dome because of its location on Eastern Tokyo. It's literally attached to the Tokyo Dome, which is where, the Tokyo Giants play baseball. It's like its own little city. There's tons of restaurants, shopping, and there's a train station right there. So you can pop on that train and go anywhere you want. I like to be by train stations.
Yeah.
It's so convenient. Yeah.
That's one of the things I've noticed here so far. Malls are not dead in
Yeah.
Japan. Malls are a thing,
In department stores,
and
they're thriving.
they seem to be thriving.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, clean.
Mm-hmm.
They're just what malls used to be in America
In the 80s.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Very impressive, and kind of made me a little nostalgic for the days of yesteryear when malls were booming in America.
Now, I gave the Tokyo Dome Hotel a 4 out of 5. Now, the location was amazing because you literally go downstairs and the train station's right there. The reason why I gave it 4 out of 5 is it was a little dated, it was a little worn. The rooms were a little small. Now, Japan hotels are going to be smaller on average than American. That's just a fact. You can see the square footage of your room on booking.com, so I knew what we were kind of getting into, but that one was even smaller than expected. I think maybe it was the layout of the room, but it was just a little dated. And all of our facilities we're going to, with the exception of one, has laundry. This particular hotel had, how many floors was it? We were on the 24th floor, and it had like 40 something floors. It had 5 machines for the entire hotel. We thought, we'll go do laundry that first night. I think we went at like 11 p.m. thinking no one was going to be there. All the machines were in use. I was like, oh my God. So we lay down. I wake up in the middle of the night, like at 4:30, and I was like, I'm going to go check. I'm just going to go. So I ran out to the laundry service, and 2 of the 5 were available. And so I pop it in, I go back to bed, set an alarm, I go back and check on our laundry, and a woman was there. At this point, it's 5:30 in the morning, and she was almost in tears. She's like, I've tried to come so many times. All these machines are full. And I'm like, well, mine's going to be ready here in just a minute. And another one was going to be open. But yeah, that was unexpected. It's great they have laundry facilities, but what good does that do when you have 5 for hundreds of people? So it was kind of a pain in the butt, but I just happened to wake up in the middle of the night, so it worked out. At 4:30 in the morning. So that day we did have a reservation. Now, for the most of the time, we have open itineraries. We know where we're going, we know where we're staying, but we don't have any plans when we get there because we just kind of want to see how we feel. We are taking naps a lot, and sometimes we're not feeling it in the morning. We want to sleep in a little bit. But this is a reservation I did make because I knew I wanted to do it. Don't think you can come to Japan and just go to a sumo tournament. They only happen, I believe it's 4 times a year. We just missed the last tournament by 2 days. And they didn't announce it until I'd already made our plans for our trip, so I couldn't rearrange things. So we missed the official sumo, so we did the next best thing. This was the Asakusa Sumo Club, is the one. Now there's a bunch of them. This one was highly rated. It was so much fun. I did make the reservation ahead of time. I recommend it. They sell out all the time. So I would make the recommendation 30 days out or more if you can. It totally had a medieval times vibe if you've been to medieval times.
It was like medieval times only with sumo instead of knights.
Now these are real sumo wrestlers that are retired. So unlike medieval times when they're not really knights that are retired, these are actual sumo competitors that have retired, sometimes due to injury, sometimes due to age. And it just allows them to continue to participate and spread, the love of sumo. There's an interpreter who's the MC. He did a great job. There's tons of comedy involved, but also seriousness. You learn about the history of sumo. They feed you. We had a great time. We were laughing so hard and cheering. It was a lot of fun. Highly recommend. And there was a Don Quixote right next door as well. Yeah.
That was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That was the only set plan we had in Tokyo. Other than that, we wandered around. We went to the fish market, the Tsukiji fish market. That was a lot of fun. We got to sample a lot of different food. It was really hot that day. So we were done with the fish market and we were on our way back to the train station and we see this beautiful Buddhist temple. So we swing in there. They were actually doing service, so we couldn't explore fully. But we got a chance to check it out. And as we were leaving, there was this cafe nearby and we were so hot. It is hot here, especially for us Alaskans. We left 45-degree weather and now it's 85 degrees plus humidity here in Japan. But we stopped by this cafe and we had this shaved ice that was one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. It was peach shaved ice. It was like
so it was in the menu. It looked like it was like that,
and it said small because you could choose small or large.
We both ordered one.
Yeah,
and it came out and it was like that.
It was like this tall, this big, and it was the most delicious thing we've ever had.
And we both ate every bit of it.
It was so good. It was.
What is it? We got
a matcha cheesecake. And then you got iced coffee, and I got iced matcha with strawberry. Yeah.
It was all really good.
Yeah, there's cafes all over the place where if you want a cold drink, you want an ice cream, because it is hot, don't hesitate to have a refreshment. And it's so inexpensive. Even the higher end cafes are so affordable compared to where we live. It's great. But so the reason why we did what we did in Tokyo, we had 3 nights in Tokyo, is I wanted a buffer. I'm not a veteran traveler, but I've traveled enough in my life that I like buffers. That way, if something happened on our way to Hawaii, from Hawaii to Tokyo, I didn't want it to interfere with any of our really important plans that we had later on. So I had the Tokyo buffer. If we were a couple days late arriving, it wouldn't have hurt anything. That's why I did 3 nights in Tokyo at the beginning. Because sometimes stuff happens that you can't control, and it'll ruin your plan.
Yeah. Well, right now, as we're recording this,
yeah,
there's a typhoon headed toward Tokyo. Yeah. And it may delay some flights coming in or going out of Tokyo. It's not going to mess with our flights leaving, but somebody's it will, probably. And if it had been us and we weren't able to get here or we weren't able to leave, we'd be okay because we had that buffer.
Yeah. And you have to make your own decision, but I did purchase travel insurance, and one of them is weather related. So if anything does happen and we end up having to stay extra night somewhere or rebook tickets, we do have insurance because some things are out of your control. And just in case, these are expensive, tickets. You're paying all this money, you want to keep it insured, but it's up to you what you want to do. So after Tokyo, we went to Kyoto. I chose to go to Kyoto because Beans hadn't been here yet. I've been to Kyoto before. I've seen most of what Kyoto has to offer, but I do feel like if it's your first time, you probably should check out Kyoto because it is such a beautiful place. It's, all our geisha history is there. There's a lot of shrines to see, and it is really pretty. And it's not that far from Tokyo. I think it was like, an hour and a half, 2-hour train ride?
Something like that.
It wasn't bad. So we did dip down to Kyoto. I took us south at the beginning because as we stay longer, it's getting warmer. We're heading, north. Slowly but surely, we're going north from here. So in Kyoto, we stayed at the Royal Park Hotel Kyoto Sanjo. That is in the Gion district. The Gion district is where the geishas are. I picked this hotel because of its location to a lot of the activities we wanted to do, and we stayed there 2 nights. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because of the convenient location, although we have a funny story trying to get into the hotel.
So we took a cab from the station to the hotel. He drops us off in front of the hotel. There's a hotel, and then there's like a alleyway.
It's a glass door, you go in first.
And then there's an alleyway that goes through. And I thought, maybe he's letting us off on the back side.
Yeah.
Because, most hotels, they have a circular drive that you drive through. And, there's the front entrance. You walk in the front entrance and there's the desk. I mean, it's pretty, even the hotels here are pretty similar. So we get there. There's this big glass door and then there's just this alleyway going through. And I'm thinking the door must be on the other side. So we walk, lugging our bags. We walk through this alley. We come out the other side, and there's just the back of a building.
Like a dumpster.
Yeah, like a guy smoking a cigarette, in a dumpster. And
so we're like, okay, let's turn around.
Okay, well, maybe we missed the front door. Yeah. So we go back all the way to the other side, and we're looking around because there's a stairway that goes down, but it said clearly that's where the restaurant is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do we have to surely they don't expect us to go downstairs with these bags.
Yeah.
And we just let's walk through the alley one more time, and we did, and there's this huge black wall.
Yep.
And we just happened to we're like, is that the door?
With big black doors.
It just looked like it was part of the wall. And we walked up to it and it opens up. Yeah. But it was like that scene in Lord of the Rings where they find the cave entrance. Yeah. Where
the Mines of Moria.
How do we get into this? This is this building with no doors. It was very camouflaged almost.
Yeah. I think it was trying to be modern looking or something like that. But I gave it 5 out of 5. It was very clean, modern hotel. They were very nice. The staff has been nice everywhere, but the staff is very nice. And the convenient location. We were literally across the street from the Nishiki Market, which has 160 stores.
Huge.
It's massive. It was a great way to stretch our legs, get some goodies, some good food. And if you want to go to the Teramachi Mall as well, so there's Nishiki Market and the Teramachi Mall right next to each other. That's all right there. But we picked the Gion district. And the reason why we took a taxi is because it was a little far from the airport. This time we kind of stayed away from a train station. There was a train station nearby, but it was a bit of a hassle for the transfers. You have to decide what's worth it or not. Is it worth it for you to take a taxi? In this case, I was like, we're just taking a taxi. It's just, peace of mind. We're going to be tired. And sure enough, we took a taxi right there and it was great. So we did have 2 plans in Kyoto. One reservation I made a week ahead of time. We were wanting to do something special for our anniversary. We kept seeing these videos online about different shops in Kyoto that you can make rings. So we thought, wouldn't that be nice for our anniversary? A souvenir from Japan, something to commemorate our 25th anniversary. So about a week ahead of time, I made the appointment at Glanta. And it turns out it was across the street from our hotel.
Literally across the
It was across the street from our hotel. We could have thrown a rock at it.
Yeah.
So I did make the reservation. I do highly recommend you make a reservation. Now, they do take walk-ins, but the line was massive all day long. We had a reservation. We walked right in. They got us right up to the workshop. And we made each other's rings. We thought that'd be a little more special. You get to pick out your material, the width of your band, and you make your rings. I don't know how well you can see it, but we chose like a hammered design. So we both got to make our rings. We polished them, we hammered them, we sized them, we repolished them. They engraved them for us. So we have like a souvenir of Japan and, a representation of 25 years of each other, of our love. Yeah. So I did make a reservation for that, but that was like last minute. Now we had plans that night. This is a reservation. If you're interested, you do have to make ahead of time, and I recommend as soon as possible. I think we started at 45 days out, and it was hard to get. So we stopped by a very famous shrine in Kyoto, the Yasaka Shrine. It's famous for, it's like huge red, and it has the lanterns. So we reserved a geisha experience. Now it turns out, we learned, in fact that night, that geisha are not called geisha in Kyoto, they're called gaiko. So you might know what a maiko is. That's a geisha in training, and then in Kyoto they're called gaikos. So I was having a really hard time finding a reputable service. You have to be careful because a lot of people will pretend to be gaikos or geishas and they aren't. So I was really struggling. I contacted our hotel. I said, hey, I need help. Like, does your concierge offer this service? They said, no, but we know of a company who does. It's called Utagi. Yeah, Utagi. So I booked it through, it's called Maiko Ozashiki Experience, or just Google Utagi. I went on their website, I read reviews, I verified them using different websites, and I filled out the form. They got back with me within 24 hours. They're like, hey, this is what our process is. They do require a deposit ahead of time, and they start making the arrangements for you. And we got confirmation, I think, 2 weeks out. So 45 days I started, 2 weeks out, they got a hold of me and said, we got it. So this is the middleman. They're hiring the Gaiko or Maiko for you, and they provide an interpreter, and they pick the restaurant. Many of the restaurants in the Gyeon district, provide this service where you get to have the meal, and the Maiko or Gaiko will come in, and you get to see them perform. But if you want an authentic experience, and this was private, you will see on some websites group participation, and if you're okay with that, go for it. But I didn't want that. I didn't want to be with people I didn't know. I didn't, just in case our personalities didn't match, I was a little worried I would be with people who maybe were a little loud, or, I just didn't want to have to worry about it. We wanted a private experience. So it was just Beans and I booked a private experience. So it is a little bit more, but we didn't have to worry about being there with people we didn't know. We got to monopolize all of our time, which was great. So her name was Katsuhana. So Katsuhana-san was our Gaiko. She had 10 years experience. She was so nice, so sweet. I like to call, I actually asked her about it, how it felt, because when she first comes in, she's, all smiles and introducing herself, making sure that we're comfortable, that our drinks are full. And then when it came time to her perform, it was just like a mask came on, and she was completely professional. Her dance was beautiful. They said that we could take photos or video, and we did take some photos, but we did not photo or video the dance. It was allowed, but we chose, that's for us. We're not sharing with anybody. So she performed. And then we had like a Q&A, and we ate and drank, and she, we played games. Yeah, so it was a highlight of my trip. That was one thing I knew I wanted to do, so I did book that ahead of time. And I recommend you do if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, and the building that was in, it was a very old Japanese home that has been converted into a restaurant with a lot of different rooms. And it's the old, there's a pit in the floor, and you sit on the floor with your legs into the pit, and there's a table, and it's funny. She had went to the restroom, and I was standing outside talking to the interpreter, and the chef came out to see us off, and I asked, I was like, "How old is this place?" And she comes out and she goes, "How old is this place?"
It was
And
old.
the chef said he didn't know how old it was for sure, but it was at least 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, they provide this with what's called a kaiseki meal. So that's when they bring you multiple courses. It's very traditional food. So it's one course at a time. The whole experience lasted 2 hours. I'd say she was there probably about an hour total. She'd pop in and out, depending on what she was doing. But we had about an hour with her, and she had a great sense of humor. She didn't speak any English, but the interpreter spoke excellent English, and she had a great personality too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed even talking to her about. She explained the history of Geico in the Kyoto area. It's very special there. The Gyoen district is special when it comes to Geico.
Yeah. She drank a beer with us.
Yeah, she did. That kind of surprised Beans, but I knew she would. It's because, you kanpai, you toast, and they want to make you feel comfortable. You could tell her sole focus was making sure we were having a good time. Yeah, but that was a highlight, and we got some wonderful photos from it, and a great story to tell. But we originally had plans to go to the popular Arashiyama bamboo forest the next morning, but I think we got back to our room at like 11:30, and we had explored shrines that day.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to go early to try and beat the crowd.
We were so tired. Yeah, so it wasn't like at the top of my list. It was kind of like, well, if we can. And we didn't really have any plans in the afternoon, so we're like, you know what, let's go. Sure enough, it was super crowded. The bamboo was beautiful, but unless you go super early or super late, I think it's probably okay to skip it or don't worry about it so much. The bamboo is cool, but it's actually quite small.
Yeah.
I read online that it's actually a short distance, and it is.
It's probably a couple of football fields, if that.
Yeah, and you're dealing with a lot of tourists. The real gym was past the bamboo forest. So if you look at Google Maps, it shows you all of these shrines and temples dotting the mountainside. So we actually went well beyond the bamboo forest. We kept walking. The farther you walk, the less people you see, and the temples start popping up, and oh my god, there's some beautiful ones.
Ended up in this little neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We decided to get something to eat first, and I actually wrote down the name of the restaurant because man, it was so good. And it's Suri Suri is what it was called. And it was opening up at 11:30, and it was 11:25, and we were getting hungry. So we're like, let's stop there. The photos looked amazing. And sure enough, you get a lot of times here in Japan what are called meal sets. So you order a meal set, and it'll come with like a main dish and a bunch of sides, usually rice or noodles. And it was so hot that day. We got cold soba meal sets, and I got dango as well. If those are like the little rice balls. And I think you got a beer, I got tea. The whole thing cost us under $20. And it was so fresh.
It was a big beer.
Yeah.
Like in a bottle.
Big portion of noodles and vegetables. And they were so nice. It was a bunch of, ladies running it. It was a beautiful atmosphere. It was a great break. Because then after that, we went to the Nisonin Temple. We walked past it on our way to the cafe. We're like, let's check that out when we get back. And we didn't realize how big the grounds really were. Most temples are free. Some of them have fees. So another recommendation, have your coins. So laundry rooms at your hotels have change machines. So do some of the coin lockers. But most coin lockers now, or luggage lockers, you use your Suica card or your phone. So the laundry rooms in your hotels can get you change. You have to have 100 yen coins. I have a little coin purse full of coins. Because you will use them at temples if you want to, donate, say a prayer, vending machines, captcha. This particular shrine was 600 yen, so each. So we paid the fee and we started exploring, and we ended up climbing a mountain. It was like 85 degrees and so sunny. I have eaten so much ice cream because I'm hot. So we got done. I think we spent over an hour there. They had tombs. the bell, and at the very end they have the main Buddhist hall. It was beautiful. Beans got to experience the shaker for luck. You shake out your stick, it gives you a number, you pick your fortune. And yours was barely good luck,
Well,
I think is what it was
I've
called.
had my fortune given to me twice since I've been here. And both times it's been, I think one was like fair luck and one was like, what
I think it said barely good
barely
luck.
good luck.
Barely good luck.
So, I mean, hey, as long as it's not bad luck, I'll take it. But it's kind of funny that it's happened twice, and both the results were extremely similar.
Yeah, maybe if I like look my luck up, mine's like really, really good. So it's like negating it because we're married. Like I think that's how
Well,
it
we
works.
did see Dr. Yellow today, and that's supposed to be good.
Yeah, that's true.
We
That's
saw a
special
yellow Shinkansen, which
Yeah.
is a diagnostic train that they use
Yeah.
to test the tracks. And I saw it, and I thought, well, that's weird. We haven't seen a yellow one yet, so I Googled, why is there a yellow Shinkansen?
It's rare to see.
And it's funny because it just popped up all the lore about it right away, and it's like, it's extremely. I guess they're phasing them out too. I didn't tell you that.
Yeah.
But they're phasing them out. They're not going to be in use anymore. And it said they're extremely rare to see, and if you see one, it's considered a sign of good luck. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, that's canceling out the barely good luck. But we spent the day exploring. So we actually spent 15, 20 minutes in the bamboo forest, making our way through with freaking shoulder to shoulder. We can talk a little bit about tourists. So you see those funny jokes online about how you're a tourist, yet you get frustrated at other tourists. We have fallen victim to that too. Even though I'm a tourist, I often found other people's behavior to be abhorrent. Now, I have ranked people based on where they're from, but I won't go over that. I think Americans are kind of down the middle because I think Americans are quite polite as people. We're also very friendly. Some are more loud than others. I think a part of it is upbringing. So we're both from very small towns. I grew up in, the Catholic Church. I was taught to be quiet. And we both worked professions where you had to hold yourself to a high standard of behavior. We're both really polite people too, and respectful. So we are very cautious of our volume, our behavior. That's not always the case with all Americans. Some are quite loud. But it actually hasn't been Americans that have been the biggest problem for us. It's actually people from other countries. And I think part of it is culture, some of it's culture, and some of it is just, they're just rude. Like some people
There's bad people, everywhere, every
Oh yeah.
country, race, color, creed, and everything.
There's been some Americans that I've wanted to say, oh my gosh, we were at that one shrine, and those college level kids, I would guess, they were in a temple, and there's signs in almost every temple and shrine saying people are actively praying to please be respectful and be quiet. They were talking as if they were at a party. They were just standing around. I was like, God, I've gotten so old. I almost wanted to go up to them and be like, hey kids. Yeah, like, hey kids, like, show some respect. Like, it can be really frustrating.
Was it yesterday? No, when we went to the Tory Gates. Like, we just got there, we're walking up the stairs, there's, first thing you see is like, please, no sitting on the stairs. Mm-hmm. We get to the top of the stairs, there's people sitting on the stairs.
Yeah, we've noticed that foreigners are ignoring signs to speak quietly at temples and not to throw garbage in trash cans, the bathroom trash cans. So the bathrooms at a lot of these shrine and temples, they're not manned, like fully staffed. Like these are not attractions. I think that's the problem. I feel like people think these are attractions. You're not going to Disney World. These are shrines and temples. It's not their job to handle your trash. And we'll go into a bathroom and people are shoving their, plastic water bottles and drinks in the trash cans. We picked some up from some of the shrine grounds. We picked up some garbage and hauled it out ourselves. It's really frustrating. It's just, I hate to see it. And I know part of it is because when I was here 26 years ago, I was here as a student, but I also got to play tourist quite a bit. And I almost never saw another foreigner. I was often the only foreigner around. And now I know Japan's become super popular. That's a part of it. People are wanting to travel here. And people should come and experience Japan. But keep in mind that you're a guest in someone else's country. And so please, be on your best behavior. Because we want people to come. If not, it's going to breed resentment, and Japan's not going to want to welcome people anymore. It's a hospitality country, built on manners and respect, and so give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see, Kyoto. So after we went to the bamboo forest and the temple, we went to the cafe. Oh, so this was our first time using luggage transfer. I'm sure if you've heard anything about Japan, you hear about luggage transfer. We were going to transfer to our next hotel in Kyoto. This was at the train station. So we stayed 2 nights in the Gion district, and our 3rd night, I moved us to a hotel in the train station. And that's because we were going to be traveling quite early the next day to Hakone, and it just made sense to stay in the train station. So checkout was at 10, check-in isn't until 3. And initially, we were going to get on the train and go all the way to the train station and have them hold our luggage. But then I saw the sign for the luggage transfer, and I asked the front desk about it. It cost us $8 per bag. They took our luggage from us so we could just walk out the door, and it beat us there. We checked in at 3 p.m. Cost us $8 each. So, look at your situation. If a luggage transfer makes sense to you, utilize it. It's really inexpensive. That way you're not on these trains and buses with these massive suitcases or backpacks. Yeah, it was a really good decision. I'm glad we did it, because we stayed at the Hotel Gravina Kyoto. It was at Kyoto train station. I gave it a 4 out of 5, mostly because it was a bit dated. And they put us in this handicap room. And oh my God, so Japanese bathtubs are really deep because Japanese like to soak, but they're not always wide or long. And this was our smallest bathtub yet. I had a hard time getting out of it. Did you have a hard time getting out of it? Yeah, I was like, no more baths in this particular tub. Yeah, wait till he tells you how we discovered it was a handicap room.
I gotta tell you this story. Well, so when we're checking in, the lady checking us in says like, oh, I'm sorry, you guys wanted I don't remember what kind of room, like a king room or something. I don't know. We're oversold, or it
was going to be
out.
A bigger room.
She goes, but we'll put you in. I'll put you in this other room, and it's a bigger room, or it's for like, I think she said groups or something. I don't know. She didn't say it was a handicap room. She just said it's like
it's bigger.
It's a big room.
And she said it was on a smoking floor, but a non-smoking room. Yeah.
And we were like, whatever, we just want a room.
We want a room.
So we get there, and the first thing we notice is the door, like, it's this big sliding, big sliding door.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's a little weird, but whatever. And we get in, and we're looking around, and the first thing I'm trying to do is like figure out where all the light switches are. And we were looking for, I think, the main light switch or something. Because a lot of times hotels you'll have to put your card in a slot for the electricity or the air conditioning to work.
Yeah.
So we're trying, and there's no slot. So we're trying to figure out like where all the light switches are. And there's this cord on my side of the bed, and it's got a button on the end of it. It's just, like almost like an old timey flash bulb button. And I'm like, what is this thing? And I pick it up, and I'm thinking it's some kind of light switch or something, because the cord's like running behind my nightstand. So I just hit the button, and I'm like looking for the light, and there's no light. So I hit it again, and I hit it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, he kept hitting it.
Phone starts ringing, and then as soon as the phone rings, I realize what I'm doing. And I'm like, this is an emergency call button.
He just called for help.
And the front desk calls, and they're like, oh my God, is everything okay? And she answered it, because I couldn't find the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like on the nightstand. It was like across the room, on the desk or something. And she answers, and she's like, no, it's okay, false alarm.
In Japanese.
Yeah. Because I'm panicking. I'm just like, we got to leave now.
Yeah.
But then I'm like in the bathroom,
mm-hmm.
and I realize like there's like railing, and there's like a call for help button in there, and there was something else. Oh, the controls for the tub were like not in the tub. They were like on the side where like you could just like reach over and turn the tub on from outside.
That way
the
you
tub.
didn't have to reach while in
Yeah,
the tub.
so it was for somebody in a wheelchair, and that's when I it finally littering
Same.
littering in. I'm like, we're in a handicap room.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. But I hit not the emergency call for help button, thinking it was a light switch.
Yeah.
If the woman had told us it was a handicap room, I probably would have put two and two together and not hit that button, because I thought it was just a regular room. I was like, this has got to be some kind of weird light control thing.
The best part was when it didn't work the first time, he hit it again. And it still didn't work. He hit it again, and he was like,
I thought it was a light switch.
if that beeped every time you hit it, they were in that room, the operating room, but
Sirens were going off. Satellites were linking up in space.
It's like, oh my God, this person's in real trouble. Yeah. No, that was funny.
Firemen are sliding down the pole.
Yeah. So we had plans that night to go to the Inari Red Torii Gates. And much like the Bamboo Forest, you want to go early in the morning or late at night. And I wanted to go as the sun was setting because I wanted to see it in light, but also in darkness because it lights up. So we took the train from our hotel because it's in the train station. So I think it was like a 15-minute train ride. It was so fast. And it was busy, but it wasn't crazy busy. It wasn't as bad as the Bamboo Forest. And we hiked. What people say about Japan is true. You're going to do a lot of walking, and a lot of it's uphill, both ways.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow. So we're hiking, and we had already hiked. We're averaging, sure enough, 15 to 20,000 steps a day. And we're hiking up this thing, and the sun is setting, and it's a little confusing, the route. Once again, Japan is not always great when it comes to signage. We even used Google Translate on some of the signs to see, and it would not give us any helpful information.
Yeah, well, it'll say Shinjori Temple that way, Miko Shrine that way, and we're like, okay, that's great.
If I want to,
we still don't know which one we.
Where do I go if I want to see more Torii Gates?
Yeah.
But we ended up it was 50-50, and we got the right one. So we climb, and I knew I didn't want to go all the way to the top because I read online people were like, don't even bother going all the way to the top. There's nothing special up there. I just wanted to go high enough to see enough of the Torii Gates and experience the sun setting. And sure enough, we went up in the light, came down in the dark. It was really cool. I'm glad we did it. But once again, it's not so magical that I feel like you have to do it. Same thing with the Bamboo Forest. There's so many shrines, temples, beautiful parks and gardens to see in Kyoto and around Japan. You don't have to go to the places everyone else is going to. But I had not been to those two places. I had not been to the Bamboo Forest or the Torii Gates when I lived here 26 years ago. So I was like, you know what? I would like to go. I'm glad we went. But I'm definitely not you have to go.
The Torii Gates was probably the place where I got the most frustrated with the tourists, because you're in a line, you're walking uphill, up steps, and people are stopping and posing and taking photographs and basically just stopping everyone.
Touching the Torii Gates, which drove me crazy. Don't touch. I'm just
women are having photo shoots in front of them, and it's holding up the line. And I mean, if you find yourself in a situation where nobody's around you and you want to take pictures, go for it. That's great. But when you're literally holding up hundreds of people, that's not cool.
Yeah, be aware of your surroundings. We took a few photos, but when the photos we took, there was really no one around. There was maybe one or two people. One shot I even got where there was no one around, and it really thinned out as it got darker. Less people were around. But so we were really hungry. We get back to the hotel. We stop by the convenience stores in the train station. I think it was a Lawson's, maybe. I don't remember if it was a Law. You're going to see Lawson's, Family Mart, and 7-Eleven are pretty much the main ones. We get so much junk food. We're we don't want a fancy meal or anything like that. We want junk food. We got, sandwiches and bakery items and drinks, and it was just all junk, and it was so wonderful. And we ate it. And the next morning, we Googled, where to get our ekibens, our bentos for the next train segment, because we're going from Kyoto to Hakone. It's 2.5 hours. And it said, hey, right here in the train station, there's a department store. And we were we recognize that name. We saw a sign for that. It was across from our hotel. So you exit our hotel and you go down these escalators to get into the train station, and right across from the escalators is the department store. It's and it's perfume everywhere. It's funny that main floor was the perfume area, and we were walking around. We're like, "Where's the food?"
Yeah, we had to go down like 2 more floors. So
yeah,
it was.
And then magic happened.
It was crazy. I mean, it was just like every kind of treat, cake. Just.
It was like going to like Diagon Alley in Hogwarts.
Yeah,
or
it was like something.
It was like crazy.
Harry
It was
Potter.
beautiful, like the food that was there, and we got like local specialties and delicacies, and we both got a beautiful piece of cake to eat in our room before we had to get on our train.
It was great, but at the same time, we're like, this was here the whole time. Like we could have come in here last night and got a whole cake. You know, got an anniversary cake for our anniversary.
Yeah,
or
paid
something.
down on a big anniversary.
So I mean, and that's happened a couple of times where we've been somewhere, and then maybe on the last day or the last, you know, like right before we have to leave, we're like, oh my God, there's this amazing thing over here. Or did you know this did this? You know?
Yeah, that's a part of Japan though. Like there's so much here that you're just gonna be like, oh crap! Like I can't believe which it looks like there's one at the train station here that we're gonna hit, you know, before we leave here in a couple of days. But so we got our snackies for our trip, and our next stop was Hakone. That is in the mountains to the northwest. It's not too far from Tokyo. It's really famous it's the one with the pirate ships, and you can see the red torii gate and see Mount Fuji. But we didn't want to do anything in particular. It was our anniversary during this day. This was a special treat, a private onsen in your room. And I did not make any plans because we were like, we might just want to laze around all day long. We didn't want to do anything. So we get to the station, get a taxi, go to it's Yamanochaya was the name of the ryokan that we stayed at. And it's the full experience. It includes breakfast and dinner, traditional, you know, meals, and a private onsen in your room. I think the whole place, I believe, has 12 or 13 rooms. That's it for this inn. Beautiful grounds on the river. You got to hear the river and the waterfall all night. You know, you open up your door, had decks. I really liked it. I give it a 5. Actually, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's super old. The ambiance was amazing. Having the private onsen was spectacular. I think the pamphlet said, we do not recommend doing more than 3 or 4 a day. I think we did 6 to 8 a day. Perhaps.
You just got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, we drank so much water, we stayed hydrated, but we just chilled in that area. The reason why I would give it not a perfect score, the staff was super nice. You could tell they wanted to serve you in any way possible, but it was just a different vibe. It's not like these hotels we're staying in before or now. We got a little irritated the second day we left for lunch, and they asked us, when are you guys leaving?
It's a little weird. It's a little eccentricities, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they were like, when are you leaving? Like, it was almost like my parents, when are you leaving? When are you coming back? Where are you going?
It was because they wanted to clean and prepare our room. So I understand kind of like the window that they needed, but it was a little like, we were like, we don't really know. So we kind of gave them a time that we thought, would
We
work.
said we'd be back between 2 and 3.
And we ended up coming back at 2.
We came back at like 1:45.
Oh, did we really?
Yeah.
Oh, 1:45.
And then we get back, and it's 80 degrees. It's hot.
We've been hiking.
We walked. We had to walk uphill, and we had to walk across this really like sketchy bridge to get there, and then walk up the hill, which I guess not all vehicles can make it up that hill. It's really like windy and steep. But we get there, we're pouring sweat, we're hot, and we just want to go back to our room and cool off. And they're like, you can't go back to your room. We're not done. And that I was like, this is unacceptable. Like, I need to go back to my room and shower.
Yeah.
And they finally, like, I think it was about 15 minutes.
Yeah, and they did like, hey, come up to the deck. They served us cold tea. Like, you could tell they were trying to keep us like, happy while we were waiting. But it was just different because usually you're like, I come back to my hotel, I get to go to my room. Yeah. That was a little different. I think it was just a different.
Yeah, and the room, like, it wasn't dirty. It was just.
They also prepared it for our arrival. They had fresh like drinks and snacks. Like they were like, they're trying to like give you this experience, and I think we weren't quite prepared for that.
Yeah, that was a little. And plus, I mean, we were drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
We were hot. It was like 80 degrees, and you just want to go to your room and just relax.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, your room's not ready." And
yeah. Now, the traditional Ryokan experience, I think, is a must if you're going to go to Japan. And this one was wonderful. The private onsen especially, and the staff were super nice. Now, because it is traditional, you're going to sleep on futons. That means removing your futon during the day. There are no naps. We got used to kind of taking naps every day. So breakfast is served at 8 a.m. You better be up and ready for your breakfast because they're coming to bring it to you.
Yeah.
And they're going to remove your futons and set you up with your table and chairs. And it's traditional too. You're on the floor. You're sitting on the floor. So with us, we both have bad knees. So it was a little bit of a challenge because breakfast averaged 45 minutes. Dinner was the first night 2 hours. Second night only 1 hour.
Yeah.
But dinner served at 6, and they're coming with your course after course. It takes a couple hours. So be prepared for that. You're not going to have a bed during the day. Like, you got to kind of make plans like to make yourself comfortable. And there's no entertainment at all. They had some like DVDs and like games on site, but we're like, we're not really.
We never even turned on the TV.
No.
Which the TV was like this
big.
big.
The onsen is the highlight. We were in that.
It's a spa.
Yeah.
Which you could get massages.
Yeah.
And they had what was it? It was called like the wind deck or something. They had a deck.
Yeah, they had
above
upper
ours,
deck.
which we didn't.
Not the first night.
We didn't even find to the second night.
I went to go do laundry and I discovered it.
But yeah, there's this really nice deck with lawn chairs and couches, and they have a little drink station with they had sake, soju, and some kind of whiskey. And then they had teas, water. Barley tea, green tea, water, or lemon water, and it was all free to drink.
Yeah.
They had a little like bartender thing where you put your cup and push it up, and it dispenses the booze into it, and that was cool. That was, free drinks and a great view. So we really took advantage of that the second night.
Yeah.
And then we got a private onsen time. We have an onsen in our room, and then there's
a bunch of public ones.
Yeah, you get to schedule a private one.
And then there's a private one you can schedule.
And we got 45 minutes in there, which I don't think we used the entire 45 minutes, but.
No, we might have if we count like the preparation, like everything like that. But it was outside. So the one in your room is inside, even though you could open up the doors to the outside. It's inside. These are outdoor, This was an outdoor onsen. So that was a new experience too.
Yeah, and it's all fenced in.
It's private.
There were leaves like falling in the onsen as we were in there. But it was great, and I recommend it. There's just some eccentricities and some little quirks you have to get used to if you want to stay there. Them coming into your room, it's weird because it's like, oh, it's almost 6 o'clock. We have to get up and make sure we're dressed because they're bringing us food now.
Yeah.
So it's like company's coming.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to get up and be ready for them to show up with your food and stuff. But it was good, and the food was good. It's traditional Japanese food. There was one of the courses during the dinner that was sashimi based, and I can kind of take or leave sashimi. I'm not.
It depends on the texture and the size for me.
And I don't think I finished all of that. I don't think she did either. But
not the one. It was too chewy.
Yeah.
I don't like my sashimi to be too chewy. I think it was squid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that. The scallops were amazing. The tuna was amazing. The shrimp was really good, but not the squid. Too chewy.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take me more than 10 seconds to chew my food and be able to swallow it. But no, it was beautiful bringing the courses in. The presentation was amazing. I do recommend if you come to Japan, choose a traditional Ryokan for at least 1 or 2 nights. Experience what it's like to have lived, and been in the inn, back in the Edo period.
They were setting the table. They would bring the glasses and the little dishes and stuff, and his attention to detail, like. He would set something down, and then he would just make sure it was just setting the right way or facing the right way, or if it was a little off center, he'd move it. I can't remember our room attendant's name. I don't even know if he ever told us.
I don't know if he told us. I feel really bad. I don't think he told, and I didn't. I felt like this is the American thing in me. I felt bad to ask at that point because you're so far gone. You're like, I feel like at this point it's rude to ask.
Yeah.
Because if he told us, I'm gonna feel awful. I wish they'd written it down we had like a welcome brochure that had our name on it and everything. It'd been kind of nice if they would have put our room attendant's name on it.
I think they did on cruise ships.
Yeah,
You,
they do
you get a
on
guy that
vacations.
like handles your like section, and they're like, your guy's name is Raul, and you can call him at this number. But we didn't get that.
Yeah.
With him. But,
And this was a good lesson too that we learned. So it was easy to take a taxi to the RoyoCon, but getting out was different. So the brochure said, speak to your room attendant or the front desk to arrange your taxi. So, and I'm sure part of this was because we were coming back on that time where we were really tired and hot and we couldn't get to our room. I was trying to arrange a taxi for the next day, and they were basically like, we recommend the bus. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I want a taxi. And they're like, well, they're really hard to get. And I'm like, the paper says you'll arrange a taxi for me.
In the brochure or the paperwork,
Yeah.
in the little guide they give us, it says to arrange for a taxi, just tell your room attendant. And we walk in and we're like, hey, we'd like a taxi. And they're like, there are none.
Yeah, they're like, but so what they were trying to explain was it's such a remote area. Taxis aren't hanging around. So Beans went on Uber and pre-arranged a taxi for us because most Uber here in Japan actually just utilizes taxis. And the first one ended up canceling on us. That gave us a little bit of stress.
Yeah. I think it was because of the location. Like I remember I said there was a rickety bridge.
Yeah.
And then the bridge like goes into that like really steep hill. And I mean, it's like 100 yards, if that, probably not even that. But I think probably the first one saw where it was and was like, no, I'm not doing that. Second one showed up, but he parked it into the bridge and messages and is just like, hey, I can't make it up there. Can you guys come out to me?
Yeah.
Which was fine. In fact, I almost, if I had asked for another one, I was going to see if I could send a message that just said,
we'll meet you at the road.
We'll meet you at the bridge.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up happening. And I gave the guy a good tip for accepting the ride and putting up with that bridge. But yeah, that was a little weird. Where they're like, yeah, if you want a taxi, just ask your room attendant. And yeah, there's no taxis.
Yeah. Which it sounds like it's something they struggle with, and even we experienced it because our first person canceled on it. So that was a little unexpected.
But when we went on our little journey yesterday, when we were walking around, we saw dozens of taxis.
Yeah.
Dozens.
When we got closer to like the town. So I think what our plan was is if we couldn't get one to come to us, we were going to go either to the first bus stop and ride the bus to town, or just walk to the town like we did the day before and catch a taxi from there. But it ended up working out. So I guess the best advice then would be, I highly recommend exploring Japan outside of the major cities, but just keep in mind the further you get away from major cities. Hakone had 10,000 was the population. It was a tourist town. It's famous for hot springs. Just keep in mind, you're not going to have the access to transit like you did when you were in Tokyo or Kyoto. So just, be prepared for that. You don't want to miss the next, stage of your journey, which for us was getting on a train, in a couple hours. But you just mentioned tipping. So as most people know, Japan is a no tipping culture, which is wonderful. You don't have to stress about calculating a tip, worrying about having, enough change, whatever. It's so nice not to have to worry about. So where tipping does show up in Japan is ride shares. So taxis, our first taxi was cash only. It's important to have cash in Japan. We are using our card 90% of the time, but 10% of the time we're needing cash. So you have to have cash and coins. But when you do the Go taxi, which is kind of like an Uber too, I have the app for it. You did Uber.
Yeah.
Tipping is an option. So it does show up there, but it's not ever done in person. That's the only place I've seen it so far is like rideshare stuff.
Yeah, and we were so appreciative for that guy.
Yeah.
Waiting at the bridge
He
for
needed
us.
a tip.
That we were going to tip him, even if it didn't give me the option on the app. I would have gave him some money. He might have refused it, but he thanked me for the tip on the app. So I'm assuming he appreciated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our stay in Hakone, and it was good. And I know we kind of ragged on the place a little bit, but it was a great stay. It was amazing.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was just some little things that we've been staying.
We weren't prepared for.
Yeah, we've been staying in modern hotels with modern amenities and services. So it was a little bit of a change to stay in that kind of a rustic setting and have some of the challenges of a small town, which Hakone is a little bit bigger than our hometown where we're from.
Which, don't get me wrong, it was so wonderful to have the peace and quiet and being in nature after being in Tokyo and Kyoto.
Yeah.
I really appreciated the break. We as an arranged our itinerary.
The Royal Week.
Yeah, so that we would have these breaks, from the big city because we are not city people.
Yeah. And we finally saw some wildlife. We saw a couple of lizards and some kind of
I think an egret maybe or something.
yeah,
I'm not
heron, egret, some kind of bird. He was swimming
He
around.
was fishing.
And a dead snake.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
And a couple crazy bugs.
We saw I looked it up. I guess it's called a house centipede. And I got a picture of it. It's not very good because there's no scale.
It was like this
It
big.
was about the size of a dollar bill. It was about the size of a dollar bill.
It was huge.
And it's funny because I sent it to one of my friends, and I was like, oh my God, my urge to live in Japan is decreasing. And then he said, well, we have those here. And I said, well, how big are they there? Because this was about the size of a dollar bill. And he goes, they're not that big here.
To be fair, we were in the subtropical area. The further north we go, the less the bugs are going to be.
Yeah, but apparently they're very helpful. They eat other pests.
Yeah.
And it's generally considered not a nuisance. Yeah. But they do bite, so don't mess with them.
Yeah, they say they'll leave you alone, but if you mess with them, they could potentially bite. But so that's what we've done so far. Tokyo, Kyoto, Hakone. We're now in Kanazawa, and you can look forward to us talking about Kanazawa and then Morioka, which is where I lived. We're going to go back to my stomping grounds, and then Aomori, and then we're going to jump down to Tokyo for a few more nights to wrap up the trip. Something we're waiting to the very end is souvenirs. So if we see something special in any of these locations, we're going to buy it. But as far as like all the snackies and the souvenirs for our friends and family at the end, we're buying a suitcase at the end, an extra suitcase, and we're filling it full of stuff. But you do not want to be lugging that around Japan. So wait to the end.
We've been very restrained when it comes to things like, which I haven't seen. If I saw something I really wanted, I would just buy it and deal with it. But we are supposedly going to the samurai village tomorrow. Yeah. And I am a sucker for samurais, so I might be lugging around a samurai helmet or something for the rest of the trip. I'll just wear it, but we'll see.
Yeah, as far as packing goes, we haven't talked about it too much, but even though we were told in all these videos to pack light, I thought I was packing light. I could have packed light. Yeah. I'm wearing the same shorts or pants, like shorts and pants, and like the same two tops all the time. Yeah. Because we have laundry facility. I'm like, I packed. I'm in the same. Three too many shirts. Yeah. One pair of like shirts too much. It's like
I could have brought half the toiletries and half the clothes that I brought. Yeah. And
dang it.
Yeah.
If it was shit stuff, I would just like toss it. But it's nice stuff, so I have to bring it back home, and I can't just pop it in the mail. Because you can't just mail something from Japan back to America without it costing a fortune. Well, lesson learned. Yeah. Lesson. All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch you at the end of the trip and update you on how it's gone.
Part 3, our next few towns.
All right. Bye-bye.